What's going on, guys? Bengal King here, coming back at you with another video, and today we are coming at you with another realistic rebuild. This one is, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I do want to get a couple things out of the way first. That these are important, so even if you think you don't care, maybe you will, because a lot of questions have been asked of me about, like, do more fantasy rebuilds, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. First of all, the realistic rebuilds are fun, and it's not, like, hyper-realistic. Sometimes we're going to make some moves that are a little bit unrealistic for the sake of having fun in the video, fun for you guys, fun for me. And there are like these unrealistic moves that happen in real life all the time. Who would have guessed that a player like Odell Beckham Jr. would be traded after signing a big contract extension in the first year of it? That makes no sense, yet that's what happened in real life. Is Dave Gettleman, Giants GM, decided to make that move. And I know Odell's been bad this year, but whatever. The point remains the same. Like, some of these moves that you would never expect to happen do happen. So the only real big difference between the realistic and the fantasy is only auto-generated draft classes, and realistic is we use a 2020 class. For the draft classes, people always want to know, it's like, well, why don't you use 2021 class? It's too soon to tell how that class is going to shape out, and honestly, the auto-generated rosters give us a little bit more variation, and it's a little bit more fun to draft new players, for me at least, than seeing the same players time after time after time after time after time for multiple seasons. So that's why I don't use a 2021 class, but we do use a 2020 class. People also ask me, did I update it for December, or can I update it for December? And I did about a week ago. You have to re-download the class. Otherwise, there was no updates. It doesn't do it automatically. You have to re-download it. It's on the file share. It's the most downloaded file on PS4. Bengal 2020 NFL Draft or something like that. You'll find it. People also ask, am I going to put it on Xbox? Still, no, I don't have an Xbox. I have PS4. It's PS4 only. I'm sorry. I can't recommend any on Xbox. That's another question I get. I don't have Xbox. I don't know. I have no idea what's on there. I can't recommend anything. So now that that's out of the way, go ahead and check out the links in the description, Twitter and Instagram. I would very much appreciate you guys following me over there. Twitter.com/Bengal Designs, Instagram.com/Bengal YouTube. If you're going to be buying tickets for anything, make sure to use code Bengal on SeatGeek, and you save yourself $20. Kind of a no-brainer. You're going to go to the game anyway. Might as well save some money while you do so. Another question I get all the time is, how do we jump straight to week 15, or the week that it is? And this is like a little bit behind. I'm not sure when it turns over, when it updates into the next week. But we're in week 15 here. You just, when you load the online roster, online franchise, you click real life roster, and then you can choose your week, and it will give you the roster for whatever week that it was. You can choose week 3. You get the week 3 rosters. Week 15, you get the week 15 rosters. So that's how you do that. Anything else that's relevant? Yes. More advertising for me, and that is that I know a lot of you guys are just here for Madden. But if you guys are actually like big football fans and wanted to see some NFL talk videos, and more specifically NFL trivia, I do trivia videos on the channel. You guys can take them yourself, see how I do, see how you stack up. And I would highly recommend you check those out. I think you're going to enjoy them. A lot of people seem to, so I would really love if you were to do that. Now, when we take a look at this team, it is quite good. The Cowboys are a powerhouse in simulation usually, and they have a really good team. The toughest decision we're going to have to make is whether to extend Dak Prescott or not. He's looked pretty good this year. I will give him credit where credit is due, although he's still not a great quarterback. It seems like some development traits have been changed, as Amari Cooper now has Superstar X Factor. I'm not sure when that happened. And it seems like Zeke, I want to say he definitely had Superstar X Factor, and now he's only down to Superstar, which, whatever. I don't know what to say about that too much. Tony Pollard is actually a really good up-and-coming player. Michael Gallup's a beast if Dak Prescott could hit him more consistently. Randall Cobb, Tavon Austin in there. It's not a bad receiving core, but it's probably a position I want to improve. We're going to have to extend Michael Gallup in the very near future. Again, Dak Prescott as well. The offensive line is fantastic. Got Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, two of the best at their positions in the NFL. La'el Collins is great. Travis Frederick is great. And then Connor Williams is kind of like the one player who isn't excellent on this team, and he's not even terrible. Has some potential there, a real young player. Played tackle at Texas, so he's still learning the position a little bit at left guard. Of course, Jason Witten back from the dead, and I know he didn't die, but what he was doing was getting killed on Monday Night Football. He was terrible. He was killing my ears every time he opened his mouth. Blake Jarwin in there, Dalton Schultz. And then defensively, it's still a pretty good defense. Leighton Vander Esch got downgraded to star development. We also have Jalen Smith, who arguably should be superstar. Yet Demarcus Lawrence, who's good. We're going to play Tristan Hill just because he has star development. Probably over anybody. Antoine Woods and Malik Collins in there as well. Christian Covington, who they signed. I want to upgrade over Robert Quinn. Tyrone Crawford is not really an edge guy at all. Quinn is 29. We need to get better and younger. Michael Bennett, same deal. No real reason to have him. And then at cornerback, Anthony Brown's going to play over Jordan Lewis because of star development. Byron Jones is a beast, but the Cowboys apparently don't want to re-sign him for some reason. Chidobe Awuzie is in there. And then at safety, definitely need to improve because Xavier Woods, Darian Thompson, Jeff Heath, and Kevon Frazier are not going to get it done for us. Of course, Sean Lee, Julian March in there as well. I want to say he used to be March Lillard, was he Justin March Lillard? Did he change his name to just Justin March? Okay. That's a new one, I guess. But yeah, it is week 15, though. It doesn't really matter so much. We're going to simulate to the offseason because it's all real-life numbers anyway. Of course, if you've been on the channel before. And if you haven't been, I really would wish that you would subscribe. We're on the track to 150,000 subscribers. That seems so crazy for me to say. I never would have dreamed I'd be anywhere close to 150K when I started this thing years ago. I uploaded my first video in 2008, which was forever ago at this point. It's more than a decade later I've been on this platform, and consistently on this platform since like 2011, 2012. But yeah, Amari Cooper is an impending free agent. Definitely someone I'd like to bring back. Byron Jones, Robert Quinn can go, Michael Bennett can go, Dak Prescott's in here, but Dak went up to superstar. What do we do? I also have to load in the draft class before I forget. Anthony Brown's in here. Oh man, how much money are we going to have? Probably not enough. Amari Cooper, I do want to re-sign for sure. That's going to take a big chunk out of our potential spending money, though, but we do bring back Amari Cooper. Byron Jones, definitely want to bring him back as well. One of the better corners in the NFL. Can't really let him slip away to free agency. That's a big chunk of our money. Robert Quinn, no. Dak Prescott's a tough one. 81 overall, 27 years old. He's honestly not too expensive. Under 20 a year for him, I would definitely be comfortable paying that, especially if I can bring this down a little bit. Dak Prescott, going to test out free agency. Now, here's the thing. We could either re-sign Dak, or we could, well, we can't now. We could franchise tag him and then try to re-sign him next year and see what happens. I don't know about some of the rest of these players, like Anthony Brown, maybe just because he's still a little bit young. He's also not expensive at all. So Anthony Brown will give a contract to. He returns. He should be a staple of our team for a couple years. Do I want to bring back Malik Collins? That's a tough one. I would need to see how this team's shaping up. We need to get rid of some of these contracts in order to create some space for us. Zeke got up to Superstar X Factor. That's pretty nice. He's back. Defensively, no developments change as far as I can tell. I don't know what we want to do. Do we need Malik Collins? Not really. So we're going to let him go. We'll just have Antoine Woods. Michael Bennett. Tyrone Crawford's probably a player I want to trade. Some regression going on. It's going to be tough. I think we should franchise tag Dak just to see what he can do with another year. I think that's the best move for us. Just to give us another year to decide. Now, it's extremely expensive to franchise tag a quarterback, and I know it would have been much cheaper, at least in the short term, for 1 year, to re-sign him to a long-term deal, but it's just not a commitment I want to make given his age and overall. And I know it's only 27 years old, but in the game, he starts to regress. 28 is that age of regression. I think a regression is still a little bit overpowered. But yeah, we're going to franchise tag Dak just so we have a buffer, just so we have another year to decide what we want to do. Because there's going to be a lot of players that we're going to have to re-sign, and we're not going to be able to re-sign all of them. Jason Witten retired. Now, Austin Hooper would be an interesting replacement. I feel like we sign him occasionally. Any other tight ends in here? Not really. I mean, I could offer Austin Hooper a contract. I wouldn't want us to get locked in like to a huge contract, but this isn't really a huge contract. That's 95 total points. And we could even lower that a bit too by taking the salary down and seeing 89 total points. I'd be comfortable offering him that. If Austin Hooper accepts, that's a pretty good contract for us, one of the better tight ends in the NFL. I would think that'd be awesome to get him. And Austin Hooper accepts immediately. So our offense becomes even more high-powered with Ezekiel Elliott, with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, now one of the better tight ends in the NFL, and Austin Hooper. Dak Prescott offers something. Jameez Olawale, who could forget? But I do need to load in the draft class. Didn't really do any of that whole scouting thing, which doesn't matter. I mean, we're taking the player more so than the attributes. If we skipped out on an auto-generated class, I think that'd be a nightmare. But we pretty much know what we're getting based on the quality of some of these players already. I did do a December update. I think I talked about that already. But, yeah, what does this Cowboys team need? Some defense, especially in the secondary. Let's go ahead and look at safeties. I think might be a big one. So we pick at number 21 overall. So I guess, do we win out or something? Because that's a little bit lower than I'd want us to be. But we still have a shot at one of the better defensive backs in the class. Maybe Xavier McKinney is available. I feel like we draft him somewhat often, as the Dolphins take Jedrick Wills, which is funny because I think that's who I had in my mock draft. Trayvon Diggs is available. Paulson Adebo. Of course, all the good receivers are available because it's just such a great receiving class. Shaheem Carter is here. That's another fun fit. I might go Paulson Adebo. Not a player we've drafted before, and I think someone that could be real good in the NFL. Great zone cover corner. 75 overall, only normal development, but ranked number 25 in the class. We took him at 21. He won't be wearing number 21. Probably, even though it says it there, but 92 speed, 84 zone coverage, definitely something to work with there. I think he's going to be a compliment to Byron Jones. And what we also could consider doing is moving him back to safety with that zone cover ability. That might be a great fit for us. We'll see what's available in round 2. Don't want to make a big decision. A lot of the best running backs, they got to go a little bit earlier. Although, this is going to be the pick for me. Curtis Weaver. Now, the last time, and there are a lot of Boise State players on this Cowboys team, or they've drafted a lot of Boise State players, but the last time they took a Boise State pass rusher, it worked out pretty well in the form of Demarcus Lawrence. We're going to do that again here in Curtis Weaver. 73 overall, ranked number 41 in the class. We took him at 53. 83 power moves to go with 83 speed, 80 strength. Not too bad. Curtis Weaver, welcome to the Cowboys. And I'm not a Cowboys fan by any means. I'm a Giants fan, so I hate the Cowboys. But we're taking over the Cowboys. We want them to be successful in this Madden franchise. I got to put the bias out the door and really just think about this team in general. And what do we want to draft next? Probably one of these good receivers that's still available. Brandon Jones wouldn't be an awful selection, keeping him in Texas. Actually, I feel like that's what we might want to do. Let's take... It's going to be a bit of a reach probably, so maybe I don't want to do that. There's so many good receivers available. Let's give Amari Cooper an Alabama compliment in the form of Devante Smith. 2 Alabama receivers now. He's number 53 in the class. We took him at 85, star or better development. Devante Smith is a really good player, and in what is shaping up to be one of the best receiving classes we've seen in the past decade, I can see him falling into the 3rd round, but really, really good player as we're in the 4th round. Might be the final pick we take. Probably some sick receivers still on the board, and there are. Let's go Jaquarius Landrews out of Mississippi State as our final pick here. Safety, 68 overall, only normal development. Also 21 apparently. 89 speed, 78 zone coverage. Not terrible. We're getting some good depth pickups on the team, but that's going to be the end of the draft for me. And I will see you guys for the start of season number 2. Okay, so this is going to be the defense for season number 2. Starting Curtis Weaver at right end, push Tyrone Crawford into defensive tackle, which is honestly more of a natural fit for him anyway at 295 pounds. Paulson Adebo is going to play strong safety. Still trying to figure out what to do with him, but we're fine at cornerback for right now, at least in the game. So, Paulson Adebo to safety. It's fine. Good zone coverage. Anyway, Devante Smith is going to be our 3rd receiver, and we'll probably have him in the slot if hopefully that's default. It is. Chidobe Awuzie in the nickel. Nah, Jordan Lewis is going to do that. Awuzie I want on the boundary. Pass rushers, I got to get Curtis Weaver as our rush right end instead of Dorrance Armstrong Jr. He was a beast at Kansas, but we're on the Curtis Weaver hype train right now. Mid-season mark, we are 5-3. I expect this team to be very successful in simulation. They always are. and I'm going to make them better than they usually are roster-wise. So we should be really, really good. Dak Prescott here again. Chidobe Awuzie, Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods, Tyron Crawford. I'm going to let most of those guys walk, Noah Brown included. Now, I want Awuzie back. Do I want Dak Prescott back? He's more expensive than he was last year. I don't want him. But it's just so much money. I don't know, man. If we sign him, it's going to lock us up for the future. If we don't sign him, we're going to need a quarterback really badly. Shoot. Can I take the money down? Even then, it's not going to make it. I don't want to give him a long-term deal. He signs that. Okay. Dak's here for the next 5. Whatever. It happened. It was like a Band-Aid. We ripped it off. It's like $20 million annually. I just worry that we're not going to be able to re-sign anybody else, like Leighton Vander Esch or Jalen Smith. They're as good as gone. Awuzie, though, he should be re-signing for this contract over 5 years. We are screwed. I need to find money, and I need to find it now. Playoff time. We went 10-6. Did not win the division because the 11-5 Redskins did. What? Dak was so terrible. 32nd in the NFL in passing yards. We've made a big mistake. Zeke carried the team, though, with almost 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns. We've made a mistake on Dak Prescott. Devante Smith had 13 receiving touchdowns. That's got to be Rookie of the Year. Nah, some QB will win it. Defensively, Chidobe Awuzie, 110 tackles for loss, 15 for Demarcus Lawrence, but only 8 sacks, but that did lead the team. And then Byron Jones, 4 picks, Xavier Woods with 2, Anthony Brown with 2. Any for Paulson Adebo, 1. Yearly awards. NFL MVP is Josh Allen. Of course he wins it when I'm not the Bills. In the Bills rebuild, he didn't even come close. No Zeke in there. NFC Offensive Player of the Year, Jimmy Garoppolo. Zeke at 2. Defensive Player of the Year, Eric Kendricks. Ooh, Giants got Isaiah Simmons. That's fun. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jake Fromm. Devante Smith at 3. 2 quarterbacks in front of him. Go figure. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, Isaiah Simmons. I would be in. I would be in on that. But wow. Our offense was really lackluster behind the big arm of Dak Prescott. Now, we're in the playoffs. Not going to jump in. We'll just simulate week by week here as we hope to knock off the Panthers, and we do so by a score of 30-24. The 12-4 Cardinals are up next. I need to see their overall. They're a 78. I just wanted to know. That. We, of course, are an 86. Defense, not as good as it could be. But do we beat the Cardinals anyway? We do. Only by a field goal. And now, in the conference championship, who but the Washington Redskins? We might jump in here and do Super Sim. They're an 82 overall under superstar X Factor quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. I won't jump in here, but if we make the Super Bowl, I will. Moment of truth here. Super Bowl week, and we're in it against the Raiders. And they would be in Las Vegas at this point. This would be their first season in Las Vegas. Can you believe the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, making the Super Bowl under John Gruden in their first year there, and then going to Tampa Bay, as the Raiders already have a Super Bowl matchup against the Bucs. There's no real crossover there other than like just remembering, Rich Gannon and John Gruden on that Raiders team and not winning against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, that was John Gruden wasn't there at the time. That was his Raiders team. That was, I think, was that his first or second year with the Bucs? He took over Tony Dungy's Bucs that they built, and he won the Super Bowl with the Bucs. But just some John Gruden crossover there. But as I said, Raiders, Cowboys, Super Bowl, they're an 82 overall. Josh Jacobs is a superstar X Factor. He's got Wrecking Ball. I don't know what that is. Sounds like it's something to do with trucking, I would guess. Miley Cyrus, I don't know. Entering the fourth quarter, real close game here, 17-14 Cowboys, and we go up by 10 points and now even more. Cowboys are Super Bowl champions here. Imagine the Cowboys winning in the playoffs. I guess you'd have to. But, yep, the Cowboys win here at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Raiders, John Gruden, stunned. Once again, it's the white jerseys that prevail. I think in like the last 15 Super Bowls, there's been like 2 teams that have won the Super Bowl with the colored jerseys. I think Aaron Rodgers, Packers, and I can't remember the other one. Something like that. I could be wrong with the amount of years or the number, but most often it is the team that is in the white, like away jerseys, that is the victor of the Super Bowl. Look into it. I promise you. But did anyone get a development change increase based on it being Super Bowl week? I did not check. Now, I think they're still playing with morale, right? Dak is +3 morale to an 87, so he's really not an 87 at all. Defensively, I don't notice any changes. Just some development here and there. That's pretty much it. Free agency, 11 mil. I'm not spending any of this. I can't. It'd be extremely irresponsible for the future. But I will simulate close to the draft. I'll also pick up fifth-year player options depending on who's available. I cannot afford to bring people in free agency. But we'll see who our fifth-year options are. Leighton Vander Esch, absolutely. We're picking that fifth year up. Absolutely. And now it's time for the draft. We should pick at number 32 overall. Now, we don't have any other first-round picks. I would be cool with moving around the draft board as the Chiefs were the worst team. That's crazy. Oh, also, I wanted to check out, like, Curtis Weaver didn't do anything. I didn't even see his name, like, in any of the stat sheets or awards or anything like that. Why is morale still high? Go down so I can see your true overall. Yeah, so we need defensive tackle, need outside linebacker, need safety. Paulson Adebo could move back to cornerback, but he's fine at safety for right now. And then offensively, we're fine. 3 good receivers. Don't need offensive line. Don't need tight end. It's only defense. It's outside linebacker, and it is safety, and it's D tackle. We're making a move with the Bucks, number 32, a third this year, a second next year for number 19, just to move up to have a chance to draft some of the players that we want. This draft class was really, really good, but a lot of the best players are already gone, so I don't want to miss out on like a potential good player. So we're moving up to 19. Could move up maybe even further than that. There's a good cornerback available, one that looks really, really good out of ECU. Don't really know what we have there. I would probably prefer to take Kerry Highsmith out of Tennessee. Pass rushing outside linebacker. There's an amazing safety in Vaughn Simpson. It's just, who of those players is actually going to be available? I might have to try and make a move up again. Really hard to move up the board. And there goes the safety. Vaughn Simpson, 1 pick before us. 75 overall. Although Highsmith is still available, he seems to be the best player on my draft board for a long while. So I guess that's who we're going to take. Kerry Highsmith out of Tennessee. He is a pass rusher. Looks like he's going to be pretty good. And he is a 75 overall, number 7 in the class, star or better development. Now, how does he figure to play off the ball? Decent pursuit, block shed's okay, tackling's okay. Really more of a pass rusher than a regular stand-up outside linebacker off the ball. We're probably still going to play him at that outside linebacker spot. And we're going to see if he can develop to be more than just a pass rusher. In the second round, I hope one of my 2 third-round draft board guys are still available. And one is, and it's the one I want, honestly, because we need defensive tackle. We're going to take Tyson Whiteside here out of USC. He's a 71 overall, ranked number 19 in the class. We took him at 64, only normal development, but good strength, good finesse moves as well, good speed. Wish block shed was higher, kind of a one-trick pony. But it's a pretty good trick to have is being a good pass rusher. So we've got something there. He's probably going to start, which is interesting to say the least. I love how teams are offering me 5th-round picks or a 5th-round pick for my 4th in the same draft, and that's it. Why? Moving back just because makes no sense. These offers are terrible. I'm going to draft Edward Chambers. He's a 69 overall, normal development. Nice. He honestly looks like better than the first guy. His strength is low, but block shed's high, finesse moves high, speed high, acceleration high. Not a bad player. So we have 3 decent defensive tackles to work with, and I'll probably just trade down or auto draft the rest of the picks. So I will see you guys pretty much for the start of season number 3. This is the team for season number 3, and it's a good-looking team. Morale's back down as we are back down to earth from our Super Bowl appearance not too long ago, and the offense looks really, really good. Can't really find a hole on there as Connor Williams continues to progress. Maybe you pick apart Jameez Olawale, but we're not going to do that. The defense is significantly worse. Safety is still a position where I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. I don't know if Paulson Adebo is going to be a safety answer for us. Jaquarius Landrews is not a great starting free safety for us. And then the defensive line, Curtis Weaver needs to develop. Whiteside we just drafted, Chambers we just drafted, and then Highsmith we just drafted, and he's not really in a natural position as a pass rusher in a 4-3 playing outside linebacker. Now, if we were in like more of an attacking 4-3, I could see him playing a big impact role. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does his rookie season. 4-4 at the midseason mark. Not great, not terrible. Everyone's 4-4 pretty much. Redskins are the lone 5-2 team who are above 500, but it's a very, very close NFC East. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ends up shaping up. Michael Gallup, we want to bring back. Chris Jones, want to bring back. Connor Williams, want to bring back. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. can walk. Dalton Schultz, we don't really need. Although he's not terrible. What type of money are we going to have? Oh, no. Not a lot. Not a lot at all. That was my worry with Dak Prescott, is we have screwed ourselves for the future. But I offered the contract, so that's where we are. I mean, it's a lose-lose. It really is. I got to figure out a way to create a little bit more money. Somebody's going to get cut. It's week 8, so I can't trade. Who is going to go? Anthony Brown, the penalty is way too high. Jameez Olawale is going to get cut. We're going to cut Boston Scott. I didn't even know how he got on this team, but he's on the Eagles. Jameez Olawale has to go. Has to. We need to create a little bit of space. We have to. Michael Gallup wants a higher salary. That's understandable. We won't be able to get Chris Jones back. Good punter, but whatever. Connor Williams is going to be too expensive with the Michael Gallup contract, and I value Michael Gallup over Connor Williams at a replaceable position. Has to be the way that it is. It's going to be very tough to retain Michael Gallup. I don't know how much of a bigger salary we can really offer him. I can take the bonus down a little bit and see what he says about that, but it's going to be very, very difficult to re-sign him, I think. See, and they totally changed the contract that I had working, and now he's like, I don't like anything about it. I don't remember what the contract was, so that puts me in an impossible spot. Great. Better salary for Gallup still. The only way we're going to be able to bring him back is to franchise tag him. That's really it, because we don't have a lot of salary cap room at all. We're in such a tough spot. We're 4-5. This might not even be a playoff team. And we're losing one of our better receivers. Our second best receiver on the team, for sure. Now, we do have Devante Smith. Our offense is up to a 95 overall. Not performing anywhere close to that level. Gallup would be a huge loss. And then defensively, Highsmith only has star development. A little bit disappointing, but he's almost up to an 80. So that is encouraging. With all these huge contracts, I don't really know how we're going to swing this. We would somehow make the playoffs. Now, will I be able to re-sign Michael Gallup? No. I'll franchise tag him, and then we're going to be in negative cap space. We're in a tough spot, but the offense was actually really good this year. And our defense was also really good. So the fact that we only won 10 games is a little bit disappointing. We did make the playoffs. That's all that matters. Receiving, Amari Cooper, great season. Austin Hooper, great season. Gallup, pretty good season. Devante Smith, about the same. Just a lot fewer catches. Jalen Smith, great year. We're going to have to bring back Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. We are so screwed, it's not even funny. Anthony Brown, 4 picks. I don't know how we're going to deal with these contracts. People are going to have to go. Michael Gallup might be one of them. Aaron Rodgers wins MVP of the 5 and 11 Green Bay Packers. Dak at 5. NFC Offensive Player of the Year is Aaron Rodgers. Dak at 2. Zeke at 10. Defensive Player of the Year, Khalil Mack. No Cowboys, a lot of 49ers. And then Offensive Rookie of the Year, Aaron Dowling. Keelan Cofield is running back at number 2. Remember seeing him. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year is Kerry Highsmith. Player we drafted, Tyson Whiteside, the defensive tackle, at 5. Well, those are interesting. Again, I feel like for salary, we're in such a terrible spot, and I don't know what to do about it at all. I think the only answer is to let Michael Gallup walk so that we can bring back Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith when that is going to be a thing. I don't really see a lot of other options. Wildcard playoff. Can we beat the Falcons? Answer is no. Lost 33-27. And now we get the fun of the offseason where we get to figure out which players are we losing. A lot of them. We have a first-round pick. It's not going to be too early. Don't have a second-round pick. Dolphins were in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. That's neat. Gallup. Connor Williams up to a 78 as well. Only 25 years old. And it looks like we can't even really afford him. We don't have any money because of this Michael Gallup situation. We cannot afford to extend him. As much as I would like to, Michael Gallup has to go. There's nothing there. That sucks because he's a really good player, but we don't have any options. We don't have a choice. So Gallup is unfortunately gone, and we are still in negative cap room, even without franchise tagging him. Next couple seasons are going to be interesting, to say the least. Gallup signed with the Broncos. Back to Colorado, okay. Colorado State Beast is now going back to Colorado with the Broncos, who hold the number 1 overall pick. Simulating to number 21 overall, where no one's going to be good because that's how this works. A couple running backs, per usual. Anyone on my board? Ooh, a safety. Anybody else? So he's the only first-round player out of Texas, too, so we get to keep him in-state. Damian Parson. Is that going to be my pick? We do need free safety. I'll consider it. Let's take him. Why not? Damian Parson. Whoa. The 10th best player in the class is a 77 overall. He's got star better development, but that is insane. Nice zone coverage as well. Dude, I'm so confused. This draft class must be absolutely stacked. Damian Parson. Okay, wow. Okay, this is going to be the biggest trade of the video, I'd almost guarantee. I have to make a move, and I am trading Demarcus Lawrence. Now, he's a 90 overall. He's a superstar X-Factor defensive end. We're trading a 3rd-round pick and a 2nd next year to pick up a 1st and a 2nd this year. Now, I know the value doesn't exactly equate on our side in terms of players or picks we're getting back. I totally understand that. Here's the thing, though. He's a 30-year-old defensive end that's going to regress, that hasn't put up double-digit sacks, that was a huge amount of money. Big hit against the cap. We had to get rid of him in order to secure long-term success, in my opinion. Now, there wasn't just a move made with no backup plan. We're going to move Highsmith down to play defensive end, where he should be quite good. He should be at least into the 80s. So I think worst case scenario, if we move him down and upgrade him, he's -8 overall to Demarcus Lawrence, and he's so much cheaper. The cap hit on Demarcus Lawrence was $24 million. I just don't think we could afford to keep him. So we had to make a move, and that's exactly what we did. And there's still a number of positions we want to replace, and we don't necessarily need to replace left end. Again, I think it was a move that needed to happen. We have Myers to play outside linebacker if we want to do that. 75 overall, not too bad. We still need free safety. We still could use defensive tackle. We still need left guard. We need to replace Michael Gallup. It was a tough move. It was a tough decision, but it was one that I think we had to make. Okay, we're making a very interesting trade here. It is a 1, a 3, and a 1 next year. I anticipate that we're going to be pretty good, so I don't think that pick is going to be extremely valuable. And we're trading back for a 2, only down to 42, a 1 next year, and a 3 next year. Hopefully the Raiders are real bad, which makes those picks extremely valuable. But didn't need this first-round pick. We're going to move back and then take the players we want still anyway. And if the Raiders are as bad as they could be, as I think they could be, that's going to be an amazing trade for us. These next 2 picks, I'm going to take Jarrell Fox out of Alabama. He's a linebacker, could play on the outside, and he's a 76 overall. Only normal development, which sucks. But he can play outside linebacker and move up to probably a 78 overall. Number 11 in the class. This is another really great draft class. He's incredibly fast at 88 speed. Amazing zone coverage. What a player this is. What a really, really good player. Jarrell Fox, I will take that all day. And then at number 24, we're going to take an offensive lineman, which is a part of why I wanted the second-round pick, is so I could take that linebacker who's great, and I could take this offensive guard who's going to play for Connor Williams. 71 overall, number 29 in the class. We take him at 56. Only normal development, but again, that's fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Trading a 4, a 5, and a 5 this year for a 3 next year from the Bears, kind of just like picks that don't matter for picks that, or a pick that could matter. So that was the thought process behind that dandy little move. And we'll take a look at the team before starting Season 4. Now, we've gotten worse and better in terms of better off for the future, but maybe slightly worse in the short term. The offense is still great. Even though we lost Michael Gallup, we still have 2 good receivers. Really would be nice to have a third. There might be something in free agency. The offensive line's still good. Not a whole lot of regression going on at all. Tight end's fine. And then defensively, I think we have a really, really good player in Jarrell Fox, who's playing with negative morale. For what reason exactly? Who's to say? But he's going to play outside linebacker for us. And I'd honestly rather start him because he has the potential to win Defensive Rookie of the Year at a higher overall than the star development. Michael Myers. We have Paulson, who I totally forgot we took, by the way, starting at free safety, who should be great. Awesome compliment to Paulson Adebo. Defensive line still pretty good. Cornerback still pretty good. Highsmith is out there. Curtis Weaver. We've got some decent players. We just need to go out there and perform. Dak is got a +2 morale boost right now, but he's still a decent overall regardless. And I think we're going to be in a decent position. We created a lot of cap space with that Demarcus Lawrence move that should free us up to bring back necessary players for the years to come, like Julian Smith, like Leighton Vander Esch. And even though we're not going to be playing out all these years, I don't want to just completely ruin the team for the sake of maybe making a push one season. 4-3 at the midseason mark. Leighton Vander Esch is an impending free agent, who I thought was just more important than Demarcus Lawrence. That's what it came down to. We do have a lot more money now, and he is super expensive, but we're going to give him a big contract, keep him around. You want more money? Shut up. Tristan Hill we need to bring back. He's another one that is not too expensive, but a good young player that we do want to re-sign. He wants more money. I don't want any of them. Whatever. No, I do. We'll come back to it. Okay. Big news as Paulson has superstar development, so that's proving to be a great pick for us. Really, really like that. 80 overall, superstar development. Could go up even higher. He's got tip drill and nothing else. But a good player already at free safety for us. And we will simulate to the playoffs where we're going to not make them, maybe? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Probably got to beat the Eagles this week. Oh, we would actually go 12-4. We won out. Giants went 13-3. What's happening? How are we always getting outpaced? Dak was 31st in the NFL in passing yards, but we had the best offense, so who cares? 10th best defense. It looks like Zeke carried the team on his back heavy, and he did. Almost 1,900 yards to match his 19 touchdowns. What a season. Dak had 8 rushing touchdowns receiving. No real standouts, but when you're such a run-first team, I suppose that makes sense. Sacks. Highsmith had 9, so already doing what Demarcus Lawrence could not. Adebo and Awuzie, both with 4 picks. Paulson had 2 as a rookie. 67 tackles for him. It'll be interesting to see if he's in that Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. I assume he will be, but I wonder if he'll actually win it. Zeke at 3 for MVP after such an amazing year. Dak at 9. NFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Zeke. Dak at 5. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. No Cowboys. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jarrett Patchett. Of course, who could forget him? Ashton Burroughs at 5, same deal. And Trevor Coakley, of course. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Kalon Joyner. Damian Parson at 4. Playoffs. Can we beat the Seahawks in the wild card? Imagine a 12-4 and 11-5 team in the wild card, but it doesn't matter because we beat them. And now the 13-3 Giants. Again, I want to remind everyone that they played a very similar schedule to us, being in the same division. 89 overall, and while I am a Giants fan, I want to beat them here. And they are an 81 overall. I just want to have that be noted, that we have a huge overall advantage, yet they won more games and will probably beat us here. And that's exactly what happened. They won by a field goal. In real life, hip hip hooray. In the game, what the hell, dude? Come on now. Leighton Vander Esch went up to superstar development. And I do want to bring him back. He's got Unfakeable and Enforcer. And I guess we're going to have to give him more money. It's expensive, but we have it now because we got rid of Demarcus. Not interested in signing? I don't care. You're going to re-sign. You're going to franchise tagged. We'll get you next year. Tristan Hill, now we don't have a whole lot of money because Leighton Vander Esch had to be a real dickhole and not take it. But Tristan Hill re-signs. We don't need anybody else. Tony Pollard, whatever. Oh my god. I offered Mecole Hardman a contract that was 40 points in the free agency system. 40. And he accepted week 1. If there are no offers, you can get whoever you want sometimes for nothing. How do I pull up his contract? Stats and contracts. I don't know why I asked. I knew the answer. 5 years. Total salary of $8.75 million. Total bonus of under 5. Over his career as a Cowboy, he will make just over $3 million in the final year. He's an 82 overall. He's young, and we got him for nothing. What a pleasant thing that just happened. We have no money, by the way, still, because Leighton Vander Esch was super expensive. You can't just franchise tag an outside linebacker. They're getting paid like a defensive end. It's very expensive. Paulson Adebo we're going to bring back with the fifth-year option. This might be the final season, so let's look to have a good draft. Let's kill the draft, and we'll have a blast, and then we'll have a final season, and then we'll call this a successful rebuild. Super Bowl, I mean, that's success. That's what you look for. If you go 4 or 5 seasons and win 1 Super Bowl, that's a success. And we pick at number 3 overall because the Raiders sucked. What a trade that happened to be. What a trade. Number 3 overall. Now, I would love a good trade down here if I could stay. We're in the 2023 draft, so I'm going to need a pick in 2023 in the first round. But I'd like one to be higher. Pick 10? Not getting a whole lot of value back for that. Pick 9. Again, not getting a whole lot of value back. Might want to manually do something, because if I were to pull up my draft board, there's not a whole lot here within the first couple picks. So I'd be very cool to trade down. I don't need a running back. This defensive tackle is the second best defensive tackle, even though he had a great combine. I think the defensive tackle named Josh Calvin is a much better player. 6'7", 308, he's huge. A little slower, less of an athlete, but he's massive, so it's understandable. So we could trade down, I mean, to 10 easily from number 3. If you look at my whole draft board, there are some talented players on it. So many running backs that I don't need, so I'm going to take them all off the board. There's a wide receiver who's first-round talent, who's a baller, who skipped the combine. I said, Roger Goodell, you're a bitch. The first-round receiver in the second round. I mean, there are a bunch of really, really good players that can help out our team that are not in the first round. So if we can trade down, I'm going to do that. And I might trade down, like Dolphins maybe? Number 3 overall, trading down to number 9, picking up a second and a third this year from Miami. I think that's a pretty good trade for us. We're not moving too far down. We're still going to be able to take a player that we want at number 9. Hopefully it's that defensive tackle. He should still be available. And we have a lot of options. Josh Calvin out of LSU. Let's take him. He is a 76 overall, number 2 in the class. And that just goes to show you that last class was ridiculous because we had a 77 overall at number 10. This guy's 76 overall at number 2. Star development or better is nice. He's really good. Good speed, great power moves, great block shed, great strength. He's going to start immediately and be a very, very good player for us. So I'm a huge fan of that first pick. Now, the only problem here that we find is the rest of the class is not going to be that good. So hopefully we just get some good players, even if they're not ranked too highly. We'll take a receiver, Kendall McBride out of Wisconsin. 72 overall is not terrible. Number 13 in the class. He's a good 4th. Only normal development, unfortunately. But good speed, good catching. Route running is not so bad. We got something there. And now we have 3 thirds. And I'm going to take these 3 players. There's a receiver, there's a guard, and there is a middle linebacker. We'll start with Jermichael Peters, 71 overall, number 20 in the class. We took him at 67. Looks very, very similar to the receiver we just drafted. You're always hoping for more than normal development. This time, we did not get it, as we normally don't. It's just the way it goes sometimes, especially later in the class. You're lucky to find anything above normal. Let's take the guard, Jonathan Dye, 71 overall, normal development, number 21 in the class. We took him at 73. Still a good player. All we take are 71 overall. Offensive lineman. I think we've done that 3 times now in this rebuild. And the last pick of the 3rd round will be that linebacker. Just for depth, it'll be a backup middle linebacker. I like the pick, though. Julian Shelton, 71 overall. Normal development. Everyone's shocked. Number 19 in the class. We took him at number 96. His block shedding is terrible, but his strength is nice. This is the team for what should be the final season. Almost certainly will be. We have Sienna at left guard. Receiving core looks pretty good. McCole Hardman making his Cowboy debut. And then defensively, Fox still at right outside linebacker. We got Leighton Vander Esch in there. We have Calvin starting at defensive tackle. He'll be our DT1. And he also will be our primary rush defensive tackle, where he's a pretty high overall. Did he have like 84 power moves? I didn't even really think about how amazing that actually is and how rare you see stats that high for rookies. Leighton Vander Esch will upgrade. We'll get run stopper going on him. He's up to a 91 overall. And this should be a really, really good team. +3 block shed for him is significant. That goes up to 90. So that's interesting. It'll be neat to see. I say neat like I was born in the 30s. It'll be interesting to see how good this team ends up being. I think it should be quite good based on the overall and the talent at the individual positions. But, of course, it is Madden simulation. You never know. And if you did maybe know, it's that you're going to fail, because that's inevitable. We are 4-4, but we've been 4-4 a lot, and we've been playoff team a lot. So we'll upgrade the squad. We'll see the overall and the potential development. Calvin, I hope, is superstar X Factor. Now, is he? No. Will he be? No. He'll be star. Yeah, he's star. But he's still a good player. That's disappointing. It always is disappointing to find out they're just star, because hidden has so many potential things. And by so many, I mean 3. It can only be 3. 3 is not so many. If that's my definition of so many, like if you're talking about so many inches, and you're like, yeah, I'm 3. You'd be like, is that so many? I don't know. I'm no expert. And we did not make the playoffs. I told you guys failure was inevitable, as it always is. It's a good lesson to learn now rather than later. Because if you're not ready for failure, it could hurt you. But if you know that you're gonna fail, boom, that's all you needed to hear. Because then, like, oh, we failed. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. John Gruden's on the Vikings now. We had a great defense. We're not going to bother with the stats or whatever. It's the team. We're a 92 overall, 96 offense, and we missed the playoffs because our offense still sucked. Donovan Smith up to an 87. McCole Hardman didn't go up. But this is the final squad. It's a good team, man. It's a really good team. And then defensively, Leighton Vander Esch went up to Superstar X Factor at Super Bowl week. It's a good final team, and you say, okay, the defense is the weakest part of the team. Clearly they would be. That works from the eye test. It also works from 88 defense. Yet when you see the stats, our defense was still really, really good, and we just missed the playoffs. 6th in terms of offensive yards, 4th in terms of defensive yards. So we had a top 6 offense and defense, 7th in points scored, so that maybe brings us down a slight peg. But we were 21st in points allowed. Very, very strange that works out. But that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.